is going to be getting a lot of nerfs in the upcoming patch too, it looks like. But right off the bat, actually, coming through here, Blitzcrank, typically seen Elite's respectable. Jace has a really good kit, but obviously I think they were looking at their team. Maybe they thought a poke comp was coming out here. We see Nidalee being picked up right away by Oracle in the four sidewards now. To give a little insight to the tournament and the way this is going down the group stages, we have groups of 4, and they've kind of been seeded into these groups. And the way that you get out of the groups is that you have to, it's best wins, but then it's also how fast you win. So when these teams are picking team comps, they're also going to want to pick strategies that'll let them close out the game really quickly, and it's going to promote aggression. But that aggression can also give teams that are a little bit more patient a chance to come back, maybe get some upsets. So we could see some really cool games and some fun action come out of some of these. It's not going to be clear and cut quite all the way through. So
yeah, definitely. Group stage promotes like we like to call it pub stomping.
Yeah.
Another good way and a better way to say it would be snowball compositions. Right now, we're also seeing an AoE. At first, it looked like they were building into an AoE composition with Misfortune, Lulu, and Amamu. Really strong AoE components, but we could definitely see some real strong. Say if Akali was locked in, we could see a lot of a kind of a snowball, get ahead, win more component for that for Team Bobqin. And over on the Oracle side, we are seeing a lot of probably some comfort picks here. I mean, because Jarvan in himself is probably one of the more stronger champions right now out of the jungle. Might be the strongest. You combine it with Taric, right? So Purple Team got to wield Jarvan and Taric, so you get that massive armor aura. This would probably want to force Team Bobqin to play an anti-armor based composition, maybe a double AP comp. We're going to see Akali and Orianna doing quite a bit of AP damage. Amamu's extremely strong in that regards as well. And then just kind of looking more here at Team Oracle, we've also see kind of a poke composition building, which is kind of what you want to do to counter an AoE composition. Either you add mobility or you add some form of mobility to your composition, like Arya is a good example. So, but I thought that might have been a Nidalee. It looks like this could be a top Nidalee. If they both go AP, that's that's fine as well. Nidalee, if you go outside of that AP, you lose a lot of the siege potential.
Yeah.
So if it is an AP Nidalee, they're going to have a lot of siege. They're going to have mobility, at least in the form of Ahri, to get in and out and possibly into that backline to deal with Misfortune. Right now, the Amamu and Lulu and Orianna is just a really strong potential for frontline peel and setup for team fights. So they're gonna have to kind of avoid that, And if Amamu's ult is up or down, or if Amamu's ult is up, you want to be wary of a team fight over an objective. If it's down, that's probably the best time to probably siege up, take advantage of Nidalee. Also use that armor aura to possibly mitigate some of that turret damage you might, if you want to get in under turret. And also, you set up for some charms.
The key to this one, though, is going to be getting to a stage where they can actually poke down Bobqin's team, because I can definitely tell you, again, like a little bit about the format, too. Wanting to finish early, Bobqin's team is going to definitely be going for the jugular, and this team is very hard engaged. You can actually do a lot of pretty clever things with the team comp they're building up there. Maybe they actually want to switch people around. Looks like Oracle exited out. But the fact that they can even, do ridiculous things like put ball on Akali, have Akali even go in too, and they can command Shockwave and then start out Snowball off of that with the rest of their AoE. They have a lot of ways to catch the enemy team out, so I guess we're going to have quick bans come back through here, and then we should have them picked up. And we should get rolling with this first game. But it's actually a pretty cool venue. We're actually here at eSpot. Really cool. They actually have arcade, a LAN center. Apparently no one can stay in game. But they have an arcade, they have a LAN center, they also have billiards here as well, so a lot of fun stuff to do here. Definitely impressed, and I know Highwind and I were both wishing that we had something like this in the States, because we have nothing that even remotely comes close to this.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I would love to see stateside. I don't know, I don't know if it's possible, just maybe because, in the States everybody's got really strong internet. We don't really need this much a space for a social atmospheric gaming, but it's awesome. I mean, growing up, if I had something like this, I would have been in a LAN center every weekend. I would have loved this place. We do have some smaller type LAN centers, but this is just, we've tons of space.
Yeah, our LAN centers are basically 12 PCs usually. We don't even approach enough PCs to really run events like this. So pretty cool that they actually have venues like this and a lot of flair. At least we got like lots of projectors around here. We got a spectator area. Should be a lot of fun for the people attending. You can only hear them shouting over the edge. We have a nice little balcony view. As you can see, we're actually up in the top area. We can look down on all the players. You can see them huddling around. So actually really fun for, spectators, players, and us too. We're actually next to a giant Master Chief statue that looks like he's teabagging us a little bit here. But it is pretty epic too. It is pretty epic too. So
in the shadow of Master Chief's hindquarters.
he's watching over the people down low too.
And outside of the venue, we so far we've got to run down and see a lot of the players, meet a lot of players that we haven't met yet before, but we've played with or casted before.
The elusive Mochi Balls.
The elusive Mochi Balls. Won't talk on Skype. Has played in a lot of our Judgment events. Finally get a chance to meet him in person. We were expecting some strange woodland creature and slightly disappointed, but
just a normal guy with an Italias hoodie. I mean, like what? Come
just
on.
a normal guy that probably is really good at League of Legends.
Yeah, he is really good. Although he's not going to be on mid. Apparently he's been benched.
Yeah, he's apparently been benched.
Dragon's taking over, so we're going to see actually him in there. And Bobqin, they actually have a pretty large roster of players that actually are in the UBC tournament as well. So definitely seeing a different lineup here from them. But they actually have, I think they have 7 or 8 people on the UBC team alone. So they have a lot of people that can bring out to different events. And this is going to be their lineup this time. And Mochibell's going to be on that support. Which, all the Engage Ever versus Poke, and please stay away from me. Let us zone you, please.
So we'll go ahead and remove these summoner spells. What we kind of see, the first glaring thing I noticed is that we have an all-in Trist with the Cleanse Barrier. It would probably been a little more all-in if there was an Ignite.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that in that summoner spell selection.
Yeah.
But Nidalee, Flash Ignite, Jarvan, Standard Flash Smite. Ahri, gonna go ahead and run Flash Ignite. Just all across the board. Pretty standard. We're gonna run an Exhaust Taric. I think it'll be pretty good. I think Heal might have been an okay choice as well. There's no real, especially when going up against a strong AoE composition, and they don't really have an attack speed champion that's going to be diving in. I think they'll probably use Exhaust a lot on Ahri, depending on how quickly Ahri gets into the backline.
Yeah, it'll probably be on Ahri.
Or sorry, not Ahri, Kali, my bad.
Kali, yeah.
2 champions that start with an A.
Both of them dive in. But I think maybe the reason they didn't go Heal is because of Impure Shots. Because Impure Shots so in laning phase they're not going to want to have that. And still, Heal is actually really strong if you can metagame your opponent, especially if you have a Taric lane. Usually when you play a Taric lane, the enemy AD will typically take Cleanse just because they're like, alright, I don't want to get stunned by this Taric, and then that opens up the chance for you to actually take Heal, which is better than Barrier because it heals both of you instead of just protecting one person.
And it also scales better into a team fight situation.
Yeah, definitely.
So, we talked a little about Mochi Balls. We know Bobqin. We've seen Bobqin in the UBC events. Is this the exact same team, or I think is there some substitutions here?
There's definitely some substitutions. I don't think RuneScape Rocks is typically on their normal lineup. Everybody else, though, I've seen at some point in the UBC lineup. I know Danny Real is one of their, usually a guy that they work in and out as well. But this is still a pretty formal lineup from them.
Yeah, I actually tuned into the UBC tournament last night. I think they're in their first round of playoffs.
Yeah.
Of 16 teams. They should be cutting down to 8 for next weekend.
Yep.
When we'll be here. But Danny, I think Danny Real was jungling, and I think it was pretty much the same team of Bobqin. I'm not sure who they had in place of RuneScape. It might have been RuneScape, but they were going against our Seattle team.
Yeah,
GE Sports, who threw their games away in fabulous fashion.
They were like, we don't want the win.
They didn't really want to travel up to Canada. I don't know why they wouldn't. This is awesome.
Yeah.
We love coming up. We enjoy the fact that the Summoners Showdown team has had us here. This for the second event for Summoners Showdown. Got a chance to stay with the project manager at his place.
Sky King.
Slept on some really hard or...
apparently it was better for our backs. But the shower was great. I enjoyed the shower.
But we are going to be hopping into this game here soon. I'm excited to see. This is one of out of the group stage. They set it up so that there were kind of 2 heavily seeded teams and 2 less seeded teams. It just kind of works out based on the massaging of the brackets and how to speed it through the event. No real advantage per se, as we expect most likely 2 teams. We will know for sure that 2 teams out of each bracket will move on. or in each group, and then 2 teams.
So basically, the way it's going to work is the top 8 teams, because we have 20 teams here. So the top 8 teams, they're going to move into an upper tier bracket, which is, we'll call that the Code S League, if you will, from StarCraft. And then the other ones are going to move into the Code B or Code A class. And they're going to have the lower tier tournament, but they're still going to get to play. 4 teams will get eliminated out of the group stage, and the way that again is going to be tiebreak is going to be win-loss record plus time elapsed for their victories. So the total time of their victories add up together. So it'll be kind of interesting to see where the cut is. But even though some of these teams might be knocked out, we're also going to see a lot of the other teams that normally would the tournament would end. They get to play another bracket, play in their own bracket, and still get to compete for prizes. So I think that's actually a really cool twist that RCCS has brought in here, at least for this matchup.
Yeah, it's effectively running 2 tournaments in the same day.
Yeah. Which props to them for taking on that challenge.
I'm kind of hoping to. But so far it looks like it's running really well. It's really smooth. They get a large group of volunteers. Again, they brought us up here to cast. I'd definitely be looking forward to implement this in future events.
Oh yeah, I think
if we get. Nice. It's kind of. Can you get enough teams?
Yeah.
And I think by running this second event, the second tournament alongside of the top tier players, and then you got it also brings that casual element, and they get you more people involved.
So we're going to see a quick pause, but we're probably going to see a few of those. I know walking around there was a few pauses. Again, a lot of these players too, whenever you come to a LAN event like this, you definitely always want to hop into a game real quick, make sure all your keys are exactly how you want them, because as you're rotating in on these computers, it's not your own computer, so people are going to be changing their keys and whatnot. It looks like settings. So yeah, people just going to go play on the. I know some players too also play on smaller monitors, so when they come to events like this, they'll actually downgrade the size in windowed mode so it's smaller and more like their home monitor, and they're just more comfortable playing on that. I know a lot of players here, at least in BC especially, I've seen do that. I know Matt Kopp does that as well when he goes to events. So we should see that. So both teams just going to be pinging and in and out early, and a lot of defense around blue buff for a Mumu, and that's usually pretty typical for a team that has a Mumu. You're either trying to invade because you think they're invading, or you really just want to defend your blue buff, because a lot of teams know that the secret sauce to basically slowing down a Mumu and making sure that he's not just jumping into you, pressing R and winning, is to actually go and just make sure you defend and get that first blue.
Yeah, and it's also mind games, because you could also set it up so that if you've picked a jungler that's good at invading or counter jungling, you can set it up so that you meet up at a Momo at his red. It really depends on where you think you're best. Is your team better at a level 1? Do you think your jungler is going to be better in a 1v1 situation? Maybe they'll set it up so that maybe Tarek. We would probably get a better idea if they had more of an aggressive warding. Maybe if Team Oracle had maybe invaded and warded Momo's red, that would give us a little insight as to whether or not that's where Jarvan, may want to meet. If they were to possibly invade there. Right now, though, I think Jarvan's ganks earlier are stronger than Amumu's.
Oh, yeah.
So we may just see a typical, possibly Smiteless leash for Jarvan. Jarvan's going to run over there, take red, and we could see a quick level 3 gank. I'm assuming it would probably be mid, because you could combine that with an RE charm.
Yeah.
As well as with a combination of Ignite.
Yeah, it's definitely more CC, and I also think that Akali kind of has it out with her Shroud, too. At least early, so it'd be a little bit harder of a gank to pull off, but still doable, but not as easy. And Mark just pause again. So quick pauses again for both teams to see the chat coming in here.
And we are casting from Highwind's rig this time. So
yeah.
Normally under the Paddo rig, we probably wouldn't have an opportunity to read chat. So we're gonna go ahead.
Where it is. Alright, we'll do it with the letter. You're going to see the chat, or at least for now, when it does pop up.
Hopefully we see a lot of good-mannered comments.
Hopefully, yeah, a lot of niceness. So, yeah, we're also going to see, like you point out, we're going to see that Smiteless blue. So, J4 is going to be a lot quicker in his go-arounds, but Mumu doing the same thing. So, Mumu's going to be pretty quick, too. Get that little extra burst start. Also, sometimes you'll see that as well, just to protect your red. If you do see a ward over there, in case J4 decide to get a little bit greedy and head over there, they would be able to catch you out and collapse. But yeah, I expect the aggression to be pretty high here. Looks like Bochibald is going. They're going to start trying to do a little bit of a poke war with this Tark, which right now they actually have the brush control down there with this ward. So Tark is playing around in the brush, but for the most part, he he can be seen. They just push up this lane pretty fast now. This is not too bad for Tristana because with exploding shots, she actually can push back pretty hard and farm pretty well. So they're going to pressure, but unlike other champions, she can push out really quickly. So she doesn't mind the lane being pushed back towards. But here's Danny Real coming in here, and oh wow! If he just actually would have waited a little bit, although he would have ended up underneath turret, so could have still been really, really dangerous. But typically, burns the flash, which is good for him. He actually has blue buffs as well, so coming at cooldown, he could rinse, repeat. There is no ward on that lower side, so we could see him actually come back for more action.
And we're going to see Jarvan make his appearance here in mid. But I think that's not going to be...
Could be a counter gank.
It's definitely going to be spotted out by a ward. But again, like he's pointed out before, that bottom side is not warded.
For it this time, Charm goes off on Draggles, and he's going to run up, which is where J4 is, to try to protect him to get the speed up. They land the bandage tops, now going in, trying to get that damage. Ignite going down. Ari's going to be picked up for first blood. Ponage now trying to get onto Draggles, trying to protect him from that shield that's coming in. Too strong, and now they might wrap up another kill if you get that bandage toss back. Flash goes out, and there's the tantrum, but they're not going to chase. They're going to be smart. J4 is going to be sent back to his wolves, and a nice little first pick off by them, and nice little aggression there.
So, really strong picking up the first blood. They almost gave up double buff, which would have really set Jarvan behind. And this is going to be really strong for Team Bobqin to kind of snowball this AoE composition. As if they can get ahead earlier in lane, that means they can possibly take an early turret and then really shut down that laning phase and go for more of a quick, start grouping up and start taking objectives like Dragon, and possibly just steamrolling into into turrets.
Yeah.
If they can get that bot lane out. And Tristana is so strong. Misfortune just so strong, has a really strong base AD that once she gets ahead, I mean we can see her the double bloodthirster.
Yeah, she's a great bully in lane. You can see right now they're just kind of really zoning out this Tristana in the spot lane, over doubling the CS right now over here, 32-12 currently. Otherwise, top pretty even. Mid, Orianna getting a little bit of a lead since Ari was taken down early as well. So overall, they're pushing this, and again, the fun of the format is, this is pre-level 6. This is actually really good timing by Danny. If he's patient with that bandage toss, he needs to be patient with that. Lands it. They should be able to get a kill here. Ignite going down. There's the last hit. Bobqin going to be able to pick up a kill, and J4, just a little bit too late to the party up here in top, but he's going to be able to cover a little bit if that does get pushed. But since they're very, very low here, needs to be very careful taking the shot right there. It can be bursted down really quickly by Misfortune if he's not careful.
I would like, we'll probably hear, we're going to see some heavy pressure here in the mid lane, and that bot lane turret also likely to go down shortly. Tarek going to go ahead and use that stun, but to no avail. And they got to be careful, because if they get a double up and or a Glitter Lance, Tristana will go down. Maybe that's what they're expecting. She does have cleanse. She does have barrier. Maybe they're hoping to bait the aggression and punish it.
Yeah, I mean that could be the scenario they're going for.
Except when you only have about 150 hit points.
There's a good gank coming here on Dragos, getting baited into the brush by Ari. Will she be able to get enough speed? And the shockwave would almost have been clutch if it wasn't for that ignite. Ari just basically using the spirit rush there to get down the ignite and seal the kill. So nice little pickup for them. Now going a little bit aggressive. The turret should be able to go down. Is stunned underneath. All she needs to do is be able to strut up after there. But enough distance being able to be gained by that Dazzle Stark. Doing a good job supporting that. And we see J4 actually heading down as well. But that early turret taken down is just kind of the sign of what these teams are going to want to do. And I expect to see even more aggression, which is the fun of this tournament format. These teams want to finish the game as quickly as possible. So we're going to see a lot of aggression from these teams. And Bobqin just go in there, trying to get up that burst damage onto Nidalee, who is going to be elusive, but as long as he can get off the combo, if she pounces away, still does his job until he can get her low enough they can actually go in there and execute her.
Yeah, Bobqin's going to potentially run Nidalee out of mana while continuing to farm, using that lifesteal to sustain. And if possible, I think they're going to be waiting for that Ignite cooldown to come up. It's already halfway completed, and once we see that Ignite come up, we should see Akali going really aggressive on Nidalee.
Yeah, and he does still have a red pot as well, too, so he can pop that in a trade, get a little burst of health, but plus a little damage in there. We see he's going in there pretty aggressive right now, has that slow on there, waiting for him to get to the brush. Gonna wait for another dash in here to close this one out, and this should be close. Does have it. Nicely done right there. Oracle also being pushed off in the middle. Draggle's taking a nice Orb of Deception there, making it pretty even, but it looks like we have a little bit of an overextend here. They have no turret there. Banshot's going to actually land on the Franklin. Franklin going to eat that Glitterland slow. Now he's going to pop Flash to try to get away from this. Salty Tears being drenched over all of them. Mochi Ball's going to be able to pick up that kill. A little bit bummed that he wasn't able to there. And oh, wow, the barrier, but the bullet time coming in there is going to clean up that kill. Now J4 and Ari rotating over, but Ari's pretty low here. Needs to be a little bit careful of going in there for those kills. Misfortune trying to trade there, but a nice pickup of Misfortune sticking in, thinking that she could pick up the kill and not being able to do it. Now that Spirit Rush being burned to try to run down Mochi Balls right now. But the Bandage Toss comes in right as the charm lands. They might try to turn this one. They are going to go for it, but will they be able to get it? You see that? Whoa! Nicely done! The bait, the greed, too strong.
Yeah, Jarvan actually picking an unofficial triple kill. That's one way to get back in it. And the other thing I noticed was, even though Danny had those successful ganks, he wasn't quite level 6, so actually a little behind in experience. Had he been level 6 at any point in that fight, that would have been clean sweep.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, just a tad behind in experience, or just not enough experience to make those plays in the bot lane.
And again, that's a perfect example of where teams are wanting to be aggressive so they can push an advantage, but then, you know, it might come back to bite them. So they were able to run down 2 kills, then they gave up 3, so nice little pickup or a little boost of confidence now for Oracle. They started to catch up a little bit now, only down 2k at this point, very, very early into the game. Still have a good lead, at least in this top lane, and pressure all over the map. And Oriana just picking up blue. It's going to be able to fight off this Ari, who actually has blue as well already. Mummy looks like he's heading up and around, might be coming in for a gank. They already have Ari up pretty close. Ari doesn't have her ult back, very, very close to cooldown. She didn't use it in that last fight, but we might have another kill by Bobqin. Wants to go in there just to make sure. Hoping they didn't come out there, but there's a huge Curse to the Sad Mummy coming in, and Misfortune rotating up just in time is going to go in here and try to go for some kills. You see if she actually sets up shop and lets out a bullet time, but looks like she's going to hold on to it. Picked up the 1 kill. J4 coming up to help out as well.
And we should see a bullet time here to push them off of the turret, or if they get a little too aggressive. If they zone it out with bullet time, they can go ahead and take a free turret, and actually not even needed.
Yeah, don't need it, but a lot of good little poke damage coming onto Misfortune there while she was trying to be safe. Had a lot of teammates around her, but that Orb Reception still getting enough damage. Got charmed as well, so nice little poke back, just getting out the damage they could. Maybe trying to slow this push down to the side to continue, but it looks like they're pinging for Dragon, which would be a pretty good pickup at this point. J4 is actually still very heavily invested back in base. See Mumu coming around here, going to play this award that blew up pretty smart, and they should be able to work on this Dragon and be able to pick this one up.
Yeah, so free Dragon here for Bobqin. No contest. I think Tarek just wanted to get some vision and really just decided to donate 3 gold to the pickpocket that is Lulu. Kind of one of my favorite masteries that was changed when we moved into Season 3 was the pickpocket mastery. Usually though, like, you start getting your auto attacks, you get this early game, you think, I'm going to make sure every 5 seconds I'm getting that 3 gold for pickpocket. Especially when you're up against like an enemy Tarek, and then you kind of get baited by it, eat a stun and die, and then you forget about it.
Yeah, the 3 gold was not worth it. And late game when you don't want to be near these beasts of these Nidalees that can just chuck a spear and kill you right away, makes it pretty hard to use. But again, the utility tree, one of those things that was buffed in Season 3 that needed a buff, and it's actually a lot more fun to use now. We see Bobqin putting on his juke boots here, gonna be able to try to get up, but he's gonna fight a little bit as well. Onto Loco, just actually gonna heal up a lot of that damage that he just took. J4 just barely missing the combo. Right there as he comes in, Lulu rotating up, Oriana rotating up, Ari chasing as well, and Bobqin wants to fight this one out, trying to use that spell lamp to survive out here. Gets the wild growth, might turn on this one. Glitterland's coming, getting off a slow, but Ari's gonna come in, try to clean up, but now she's actually running for her life. Oriana put in some damage as well. Bobqin gonna juke down, but he's gonna eat some damage. Will be able to get the kill. They will get it in time, and now Mummy coming in as well. Gonna land the combo, but turn around instantly. Ponage Penguin running for his life, and Bobqin eats the spear and almost saw his life flash before his eyes right there, but barely lives through it. And there's the Curse of the Sad Mummy, but a nice flag standard out right away to get him out of that. Almost like he wasn't even stunned there.
Wall kill getting in a lot of trouble here. This turret is not going to save him.
Yeah, Drago's getting the extra move speed, and now we have a trade here. Eating a bullet time, barrier coming up, Cleanse coming up as well. They're trying to trade. It's going to be very, very close. flash out as Franklin comes in to get the stun, but not going to be in time. So Rune Escape is going to be able to pick that one up.
So Misfortune getting really far ahead right now. Already, about 10 probably after this creep wave of free farm. We have about 15-20 CS ahead of Tristana, plus the kills. Probably going to go back and complete a Bloodthirster here, start building up stacks. Pretty typical build that we're going to see from Misfortune's. Really strong item on her. Meanwhile, Oriana doing well in the mid lane. Already have the Athene's Holy Grail, so she's probably going to rush Death Cap, I'm assuming, afterwards. May go for a Haunting Guise. Really just kind of stack on the damage that you see from your mid lane casters. Ari already rushing an early Haunting Guise for that Magic Pen. But Draggle's possibly baiting for Bobqin, who's... We're not even sure why Bobqin's all the way over there.
He wanted that blue buff, man. Gets charmed. A little Akali Ari action right there. But they're both going to back off. Now they're going to close on this bottom lane, which has that pink ward, but they're not going to see the Amumu coming up around top. Misfortune not now finally going to start to come up, and the quick burst away. Slow still coming in, though. Rocket jump to try to get out of this, but Franklin might be dead. Caught up in the rest of the damage, but there we have the Demacia coming in there from J4, going to be able to pick up kill and some shutdowns. Akali trying to pick up that last kill, is going to be able to get it. Now coming back in, we see the entire team going past the turret. There's a command shockwave, going to be able to pick up the kill, but the shutdown still coming in onto the Akali, which is very nice for her. But great pressure, and they're going to be able to take this turret as well. Big, heavy all-in right there. And Nidalee, in response, pushing this top turret, going to try to take it down and make up for a little bit of that gold they lost there.
Yeah, they needed like 1 or 2 more shutdowns to make that a really good, to make that skirmish more in their favor. I think they picked up at least 2 shutdowns, one on Bobqin for 500 and one on Danny Ray for 500. But unfortunately, Bobqin actually picked up a kill spree on Jarvan. So net result, they got 4 for 2, I believe. Yeah. And right now, just the gold heavily in favor of Team Bobqin, as they have no... I don't think they're going to be letting off the brakes, the acceleration anytime soon. It's a 15-minute mark. I think all the players were aware of the format and that they should focus on winning quickly. So right now, solid plays so far. Great coverage, but Mochi Ball...
wincing himself away right now, trying to get away from here, and we see a lot of pressure down around this dragon. Dragon would be a good way for them to get creep a little bit back in. So we see Akali, Bobqin split pushing that top lane, going to try to counter the lane that was taken down there, but we see Low Kill running as fast as he can all the way back up top. So we'll see where Bobqin decides to poke and prod now at this point. Looks like they're pushing a little bit down middle. I guess this Ari J4 while they're splitting off their AD carry. RuneScape Rocks down there to try to hold off this Tristana Taric, taking the safe way around, which is good for her. But in this mid lane, a little bit of pressure coming out. J4 going to be able to come back down now. Bullet time blown right away to try to push off this wave, but it's not going to be enough to really fully stop them as they push in here. And doing their best here, but they're going to try to get as much damage as they can, try to take down this turret. And if they can stall out, that is a good way for them to just kind of get an advantage, get a little bit of a foothold back in here. They are down to AK, so that is quite a bit. We see Akali rotating down around. Actually, wow, I think there's going to be a double kill. It is the minions finishing it off. Nicely played. Shockwave coming in, and now the route is fully on. Bobqin just going in here, and the Demacia underneath the turret. Cataclysm trying to lock this one off, but Wild Growth comes in as well, and Bobqin only thinking one thing, which is kill, 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 and now he's following this one up. And is going to be able to get the triple kill, seal that one up, and now they're going to work on some more turrets here.
Things looking really well for Bobqin and friends, and the friends definitely there to help support. Lulu all just really extended that fight, turned it in from secured that triple kill, no doubt about it.
Definitely a lot of good coordination between their ults as you see them go in, which is going to bode well for them. I think that we have a lot of talented people, a lot of players here at this tournament. But the main thing that's going to differentiate them is which teams are actually the best, in team coordination and teamwork. And we're going to see those teams actually excel and pull ahead. If you have a bunch of solo queue all-stars, it might not be the key to victory, even though you have that high elo to take this tournament down. It's definitely going to come down to teamwork. which teams can actually rock that better. But
yeah, exactly. That's the key point, right? You have a lot when you have such a talented pool of players like we have here. Mechanically, these players are all going to be on the same level. Former Diamond players. I think we have a couple of challengers out there. So mechanically, we're going to see a lot of the same plays. It's going to come down to that mid to late, that mid game. How well they fight as a team, and how well they work on their compositions.
That juke was pretty sick right there underneath the shroud. Gets a little bit slow, but knows the Ignite is going to be able to pick this one up. Now actually has support from her team, and J4 has no chance ever to pick this one up. Bobqin just eats that spear like it was dinner. Doesn't even care.
Bobqin feeling second triple kill of the game. Uh-oh, sees Tarek. Sees two more, says, you know what? Unofficial Penta.
Although I think he might run out a little bit of gas here. Although he does get the Curse of the Sad Mummy, might be able to get Nidalee to
one more dash.
One more. Although the exhaust does come in, tries to dash away, but they do pick him up. Might be able to get two. And again, that really, really heavy pressure, but pounces into the wall. Thought it was going to be picked up with a bandage toss by Danny over the wall. Is going to be able to pick them up. Now they're going to close on to Frankie. Frankie's going to pick them up, but Ari is back up, and now it's the danger this early in the game when you're trying to close it out. Those respawn timers are very low. Cataclysm is going to be able to hold them in. The Oracle waiting for that exhaust to wear off is just going to have to back off now as it takes a lot of damage, so nicely done by them. And it looks like a little bit more vision going to come in with that Ruby Size Zone purchase for Frankie. And they're going to need it. They're going to have to put up a lot of wards on that. They already have a lot of that bullet time shredding a lot of damage on the enemy team as well. And RuneScape Rocks just strutting his way around. Really just need to close this one out, just basically standard style. They keep pushing in over this inhibitor. Probably should rotate down to some of these other turrets. They have enough to dive past like they've already shown. Can probably move in there and actually pressure on to these other turrets. Pick those one up and close this one out after that. But really right now they can do whatever they want. If they ward a Baron, there's no vision by either team over there. In fact, the one thing for Bobqin team is they have 0 wards up on the map. So they have no vision. The other team doesn't have really vision anyways. They just have a bunch of Nidalee traps. So good on low kill right there for at least getting some vision out there. But should see that come up from both teams pretty soon. And then possibly a Baron might be the next objective that we can see forced actually by Bobqin friends if they really want to give them enough oomph to close this one out with enough confidence and enough insurance policy to close this one out with force, as we see the wards actually start to try up around that Baron. And yeah, starting to close them, actually pushing back in this middle and trying to work down a sweep grade build. Wow, what a bandage toss land! Although still in the brush, should be able to escape out of this one. Nidalee pretty elusive. And we see a Akali just get in the backlines. Bobqin again is like, you know what, I don't care, 1v4, let's do this. Although he's probably going to pay with his life. Although he is able to pick up at least 1 kill in that exchange. And now Nidalee going to come in the backside. I kind of like this a little bit for Oracles, but they are going to be able to catch Oracle. So now it's not looking as great, but Nidalee going to try to come in the back. Will Oracle be able to do anything here? Take a lot of damage from Orianna, as we see a giant Amumu cry all over them as he runs out of the turret, but taking a lot of turret damage on his way out. Shield coming in from Orianna. Shockwave going to be able to pick up kill. Going to try to follow up. They will be able to get the ace. Nicely done. Drago's playing that one out very, very nicely. Low kill, unfortunately. I mean, typically Nidalee's can be scary, but really in his item build, he has no AP. Kind of 1 AD. Now picking up a Hex Tech, maybe be able to pick up a Hex Drinker, sorry. But after that, a little bit too little, too late. Game going to be closed out. So Bobqin friends going to be able to take this one in just over 20 minutes, about 21:35 it looks like. And congratulations to them. Very nicely played. Oracle had some good moments, but just a little bit put far behind. And like you pointed out earlier, Highwind, Bobqin friends just putting the pedal to the metal